The easiest way to become rich isn't actually by being born into money, starting a new business, or working weekends. It's much, much simpler than that. And that's the reason why most people can't do it. Not because it's too hard, but because it's too simple. And I'll show you exactly what I mean in this video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Ben, an investment analyst turned financial educator, and I've also been invested in the markets for over 5 years. A bit about my story is what made me want to get into investing was going back a few years ago in university, where you would just spend on things that you would not necessarily use ever again, such as some new clothes that you liked at the time, but then looking back now, you're like, I don't want to wear them again. A pair of shoes, a new watch, doing things and just spending a little bit too much. And investing's always been a hobby for me, so it's never been difficult for me to actually understand the markets, whereas I understand for a lot of people, you push it off because you're like, inflation's a bit higher, so I'll wait for that to come down a little bit. I'm seeing on the news that oil's gone so far up. And yeah, technically the best time to invest was 10 years ago, was 20 years ago. But the second best time is now. And that's a famous quote. Because you can try and rush into so many different things, but time in the market is the best thing possible. Just managing to start into literally anything. And it's simple. Obviously from my background, looking into the markets, understanding how stocks move, revenues, it's different because I find it much easier to grasp. But I'll show you just how simple it is, and the fact that you don't need to do anything, how passive it is mind-blowing. And this is the reason why I've helped people do the same, because they had that same concept in their mind where it's too difficult to start. I've missed the boat. I need to earn a bit more to put more in. And I'm going to show you, just with 100 a month, how it can compound and how that changes over time. So what I found surprising was when I started looking into this strategy years ago, is just how simple it was. It was remarkable that the fact that this strategy alone beats hedge fund managers, day traders, professional traders over the long term. And that's what you want to do. You want it to be a zero effort strategy, and that's exactly what this is. This is literally you putting in 100 a month, 200, 300, 400, whatever it may be for 10, 20, 30 or even 40 years. And that's it. You can even automate it where a paycheck, a portion of that will go straight into your brokerage account and be invested. So it literally requires nothing from you guys apart from knowing that a little small chunk is going out of your paycheck into your investment fund, and it's going to benefit you in the long run. That's your money working for you. And that's the best thing. That's the mind-boggling thing, is where something so simple benefits your life that much in the future and going forwards. So let's assume you invest 100 a month every single month at the start of the month. And that's going to be in a simple low-cost index fund, which every year has an annual return rate of about 10%, which is around the average, whereas right now we're getting a bit higher, but let's say 10% to keep things simple and conservative. Now, obviously, throughout these years that you're investing, there's going to be tax implications, but depending on where your money's actually being held, whether it's in an ISA or a Roth IRA or in a pension fund or whatnot. But we're going to assume for simplicity of the video that it's just in a tax-free account. That's going to make it the best odds for you guys. Starting with 100 every single month, after 5 years, you'll be left with $7,909. Okay, you put in $6,000 over that 5 years. So you've actually made $1,800 passively. And I know it's nothing to brag about. There's nothing going to change your life. And that's because at the start, it's practically you putting in all the money. You're putting in all the effort. Your contributions every single month is basically what's moving that needle. So you have to take that into account. But later on, compounding really starts to work. And that's why you have to get past the first 5 to 10 years to see really strong growth and returns. And that's why most people give up. But you're forgetting just how simple this strategy is. You're not doing anything. You're not having to research more, start something new, work extra hours. You're just putting a little chunk of your income aside to still work for you. It's still being saved. It's actually growing for you. You're just making it work. And that's where people think, oh, it's boring, it's not working. I'm going to use that money elsewhere. I'm going to spend it, go on a holiday. But this is where it changes. Look what happens after 10 years. Bear in mind, this is just 100. We'll talk about how that will change in time, naturally, okay, in a short amount of time, and you'll realize, wow, this is insane, this is incredible. So after 10 years, you've put in 12,000 over that 10-year period of contributions. That's grown to $20,700. That's over $8,600 earned by doing absolutely nothing over that 10-year period. And that's still going to compound and grow and grow and grow. I know exactly what you're thinking. Show me the money. What happens after 30 years? Well, after 30 years, your contributions are $36,000. Okay, you've put in $36,000 over that 30-year time frame, and that's grown to over $228,000. by you doing absolutely nothing, not working harder, just putting your money to work for you. Okay, that's $191,000 difference that you've earned, taken out your contributions. That's how crazy this is. And I know what you're thinking as well. You're like, that's not a million. This guy said a million in the thumbnail. I'll show you where you get that million from, because this is where it gets challenging. Because you guys are probably thinking right now, well, that $100 is not going to be that good in the future. That 228k in 30 years time, what's that going to be able to buy me? I'm not going to be able to buy much with that. That might get me a car because of inflation, because of oil, gas, cost of living, consumer price index going up and up and up. What's that going to get me in the future? Well, this is where it comes in. With all those increasing costs, you would hope, and typically what you see is wages will start to go up with that as well, to kind of have a rebalancing just for the economy to succeed as a whole. So that $100 that you're investing now will become $300, $500, $600. So as inflation goes up, your invested amount will start to go up every single month as well. You will adjust it accordingly. So with a pay rise, you'll increase that as well. So you might actually beat inflation. After a year of this, you might raise it to 120 a month. You might raise it to even 200 a month. And this is where it compounds exponentially, where the curve literally goes like this and will just start to go up. We call it hockey stick, okay? We call it a hockey stick because that's how it starts, and it goes straight up and it just continues and continues and continues. So let's say 10 years have gone by and you've been doing it steadily, and then suddenly you got a pay rise and you're like, I want to put in 600 a month for 30 years. And whether you change that to 1,000, whether you change that to 400, whatever it may be, 600 right now. After 30 years, that will go to 1,358,000 to be exact. And you only put in 160k. So that difference earned you 1.1 million plus. That's how crazy it is. So if you can just bump it up bit by bit, little by little, compounding will do its thing. And remember, the market doesn't always go straight up. There will be times, there will be a year, months, where the market will come down ever so slightly, 10%, 15%, and it will last maybe 2 or 3 months. But in those times, if you have savings, you can put a bit more in. And when the market recovers, like it inevitably does, you'll start to see a big recovery. Because I know what you're thinking. A lot of people tend to start to believe, why don't I wait for a crash? What if now's not the right time to get in? Especially after you're seeing the Iran war causing stocks to come down. High growth stocks actually had their worst month this month. Goldman Sachs reported the worst month on record for high growth stocks, such as memory names, space names, semiconductors, AI stocks. And that's what I specialize in. I do this all the time, so I genuinely can give you the best information. But what do you think people in 2008 financial crisis thought after that massive collapse? Majority of them thought, I'm not going to invest now because it's going to come way lower. What happened? It recovered almost a year later. 2020 COVID, that presented one of the biggest buying opportunities for anyone with any sort of investment account. That was the sharpest V-shaped recovery, which means the market came down and a V-shape came up. One of the fastest recoveries in market history. The same with last year April tariffs. People thought this is going to crash the economy, we're going to come down further and further. I remember the news saying 70% collapse, it's going to be a Black Monday, and that did not happen. So the best time to invest is now. Like we said earlier in the video, yeah, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But the second best time to invest is right now. So you need to stop trying to off-put it and actually get into it. 50, 100, 150. You see how fast it compounds as the years go on. So if you have time in your favor, start as early as you can. I wish I started even earlier. I'm 25 and I still wish that I could even get another few years worth of compounding under my belt, because it genuinely takes you that extra bit level faster. That extra year compounding could mean a doubling if we have a really good market. You never actually know what's going to happen around the corner. So you just want to start and make your money work for you. But this is the simplest way that you can actually get invested into the markets if you are looking to get some passive income or actually get some growth for yourself. This is the best way to do it without actually having to fork out more time and effort from yourself to get a second job. I want to see you get invested, so you better start researching right now. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to check out this video right here, because this shows you the income trap that majority of people actually fall for, including myself. So make sure you guys check it out.